Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, welcome. How are we doing today? It is Wednesday, April 1st. Yes, I did check my calendar today just to make sure. If you've been with me the last few weeks, you know that I'm getting my days mixed up over and over again. But today is Wednesday, April 1st. Shout out to my wonderful mother-in-law out there whose birthday is today. So happy birthday, Bobby. And welcome. When you come on, if you'll let us know that you're here, that'll be great. So hi, Donna from Dallas, Texas. And Sherry is from, I'm guessing, maybe Massachusetts? Not sure, M-A-N. Can't think of what that is. Hi, Deanna. Yeah, she's loving the sunshine. I am too. It's a great thing to wake up and see that sun shining, isn't it? Oh, Minnesota, Sherry says. Welcome. Hello from Idaho Falls. Did you feel that earthquake last night, Deborah? That's a very, not a good feeling, is it? For those of you who might not know, we did have another earthquake yesterday, well, last evening, in our neighboring state of Idaho. So thinking about all of our friends there. Hi, Barb and Kathy, Linda, Lisa, Debbie, Jerry Lynn, Sylvie, Anne. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Happy April Fool's Day. Is that something to celebrate? I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but it is what it is, right? April Fool's Day. Yeah. Oh, Victoria, you felt the earthquake. Ugh. Yeah. Not good. We are persevering though, right, my friends? If you were with me yesterday, I shared a little story about one of our customers. I was talking to her on the phone and she said, don't worry, Kris, we got this. We're going to girlfriend through this. And I loved it. Using girlfriend as a verb. We're going to girlfriend through this. Isn't that great? Yes. Welcome. Oh, wow. Mississippi, Houston, Vancouver, Washington, Kansas. Oh, you're so welcome, Rebecca. It is my pleasure to be able to get on live and do this with all of you. I'll tell you, I couldn't do it without all of your support and being able to come and join in the conversation. It definitely is a bright spot in my day. So thank you for being here. All right. So welcome. I am so happy to see so many people getting on. This is going to be a lot of fun. And what makes this even more special is the fact that I have a very special guest with me today. I cannot say enough good things about Emily Taylor. She's just one of those amazing women who is not only absolutely gorgeous and beautiful and stunning. She's probably rolling her eyes at me right now, but it's the truth, my friend. On the outside, but she is the most genuine, kind-hearted, gentle human beings there is. And so with that, I want to bring her on. Let's see, I'll pull up my screen. Hi, Emily. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello, Kris. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm so excited to be here. And thank you for those kind words. That was really, really sweet of you. Very kind. Thank
Well,
you.
I meant every word I said, and you really are just such an amazing person. And I'm so happy that you agreed to come on live with me today, because let me tell you, I cannot wait for all of you out there to see what she has to share with you. You are going to have your mind blown. So before I get started, I want to find out how many of you have done collage quilting with Emily Taylor before. Have you tried out her patterns? If you have, what has been your experience with it? Or if you've never heard of collage quilting, then I'd like to know that too. Let us know, because This is going to be an interesting conversation. I'm really looking forward to this next little while we have together. I'm going to bring over a comment that Annette said about you, Emily. You can see it on, if you take a look at your phone, you'll be able to see it come up. She is amazing. Roxanne and I took her class in
Thanks.
Sandy. Her class was amazing.
That's sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's very true. I think a lot of people, I think you've got a lot of fans out there. Lois says she hasn't, but she's eager to learn.
All right.
Yeah,
Ooh, I'm excited for this. This is going to be really fun.
Then, right? And our friend Heather, you know Heather in her Sandy store, she says, it is so much fun. Emily's patterns are amazing. We're not just talking amazing.
Thank you, Heather.
Amazing. That's right.
Thank you.
So, let me pull over another one from Kathy. She says, I have her grizzly up on my design wall right now. I've only done one other from a different designer. I love the process, and I'm looking forward to working on this one. Yeah, that grizzly, which we'll show here in a little bit, is absolutely incredible. Let's see. Oh, I like this comment from Kathy. She says, I haven't ventured into collage quilting. That may change after today. I have a feeling she's right.
Yes. I'm addicted. I'm going to make sure that all of you are addicted.
That's right.
And it is such a fun way to play with fabric. You're going to love it.
Yeah. Okay, so before we continue on, you're going to laugh at me, but I need to take a moment of silence for something. And so if all of us have a moment of silence, you have to see this woman's design studio. Take a look at that. Can you see that what I put up there, Emily?
There's a little bit of a delay, so I'll probably see it in a second.
Okay. Can you believe this? Do you see it now?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay.
Amelia, yep, yeah, okay.
Unbelievable, my friend. Tell us.
Well, it's pretty clean in that picture. That's not what it normally looks like.
That's right. Tell us a little bit about this picture, because this is incredible.
Oh, thank you. I am so dang blessed. So my husband and I we built this home a year ago. We moved in a year ago, and it's a custom home. And so I designed this studio, and the best thing, you can kind of see those windows. They overlook right up the Little Cottonwood Canyon. So I have a really inspiring, gorgeous view up here. And the great thing is that I can work from home and still have my kids close by, so my son will come up and practice his guitar in my studio, and my daughter works for me. So, man, I am so, so blessed. I love this space.
Well, so, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's my studio.
With all that light coming in, that's incredible. How fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
I want a sewing room like that. But you're probably right. I would imagine this is at its finest, right? Without all the fabric all over the floor, which would be what you'd see if you were to come in my sewing studio right now.
Oh yeah, we cleaned this up, and it's a disaster most of the time, but it's a working studio.
Exactly, and that's where creativity is so comes to play, right? Okay, so another thing that I have to laugh at though. Emily shared this with me earlier as we were getting ready for this call, and it is April Fool's Day, but this, my friends, is no joke. Tell everyone what you did today.
Okay, so I pulled my hair back, and I was getting ready for this little thing, putting on my makeup, and I'm like, you know what? I am so sick of my long hair. It is making me crazy. So I pulled my daughter in, and we took my scissors and gave myself a haircut.
Do
I
it.
cut my hair off and I haven't pulled it out yet to see how crazy it's going to be. I'm sure it's going to be a disaster, but I wish I had taped it.
Oh my
And then I
goodness.
walked in and showed my husband, and my husband was just like, oh, what have you
And you said this is no April
done?
Fool's
But I
joke.
told no, April Fool's joke. My hair is gone. Oh, jeez. What have I done?
Oh my
Oh, dear.
goodness. Oh my goodness. You are so funny. Okay, you are killing me this morning already. I just was like, no, you didn't. You didn't.
No.
Oh, yes, she did. Oh, yes, she did, my friends. Chop, chop, chop. Jeanette says, you are so brave
Or
or
stupid.
stupid. I just, you know what? What's that song that says, I am slowly going crazy? Right?
I am quickly going crazy.
Yeah, Deborah says, OMG,
Quickly
your
going crazy in
hairdresser,
the COVID.
yeah, your hairdresser will be speechless.
Oh, she's going to kill me. I hope she's not watching this.
Well, that's okay. By the time you can get back to her, it'll all grow out again, right?
Right. My hair grows really fast.
That's right.
I'll probably grow that much by the time I get back.
That's too funny. Oh my goodness. But Brienne says something really nice. She said she still looks beautiful. The cut looks great on her. I agree.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Brienne. You're sweet.
I agree. So, anyway, it's so great to have you. Thank you so much for being here again. Uh, I am really looking forward to what you have to share today because for those of you who may have never embarked on collage quilting, be ready to be wowed because I know it can seem a little overwhelming or a little intimidating to some people at first sight. And yet it doesn't have to be. And you're going to take a step by step. But before you do, I am going to bring up a few pictures for inspiration. And then I want you, if you wouldn't mind, tell us where your inspiration comes from. So I'm going to bring up first
Mhm.
this horse. Oh my goodness. Look at this horse, everyone. Can you get over it? Now, does this look difficult to anyone out there? This looks just just wow, way outside my comfort zone. I think I can do it. I believe I can do it. But tell us a little bit more about what your inspiration was here.
You're looking at the horse, right? Oh,
Yeah.
yep. Okay. So, well, I've grown up loving horses. In fact, it's my goal to own horses by the time I
Mm.
turn 50. So I've got 2 years to start saving my pennies. But I've been really inspired by the other collage quilt artists who are out there. Laura Heine does beautiful stuff, and Susan Carlson. And Danny Amazonas. Like, wow, they're so amazing. And so I thought I want to make a couple of my favorite animals, but I had a new way of doing it, and I'm just going to show you my method. All of my physical patterns contain a pre-printed gray tone foundation panel,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason is the gray tones guide. Let me see if I can open this up for you. There we go. So you can see the head there. So the idea is I want to make it as simple as possible by breaking things down into values. And so with the horse in particular, I wanted to challenge myself a little bit by making, if we zoom in on the horse, and I can grab it too, you can see that it's not a regular horse color. It has blues and purples, and I wanted
Right.
to see what happens if I just apply the correct values to the foundation panel. And the result is that it's a very artistic looking
Okay. So
collage quilt.
well, yeah, because obviously we don't see purple horses, right? So,
Right,
but
right.
it's so stunning how you've put it together. And so when let's clarify something for anyone who might have this question. When you talk about value, what how do you define values in a quilt?
So for my purposes, value simply refers to the light or dark of a fabric, right?
Okay.
And we can all very easily identify value by simply comparing fabric to other pieces. So for example, this is really easy to see. This is dark, this is light. And so this is called relative value. As long as I can distinguish relative value between different pieces of fabric, then I can assign them sets, and then it becomes a little bit like paint by number with fabric.
Mm-hmm.
So I will, the darker areas of the horse are, I just cut pieces of fabric from the darker set of fabric, the darker values, and I apply them in the quilt or onto the quilt foundation panel where it's indicated on the pre-printed design.
Mm-hmm.
So this design is that the reason that it's printed in gray tones is it guides fabric selection. So you're going to select fabric to go in those 6 values or whatever,
Sure.
and then it guides your fabric placement. So it's, again, a little bit like painting by number with fabric.
So
Now the horse is
show,
it's an advanced pattern. Yeah, go ahead.
I
No, go
want to
ahead.
show a few more pictures so real quick so everyone gets an idea of when we say collage quilting. We have obviously these different values, and Emily's going to take us through that. But you see, I'm showing the cactus one right now, which is a personal favorite of mine. And oh my goodness, I have to bring this other one, the June bloom. Holy cow, lady! I'll tell you what. That to me is so drop dead gorgeous. It's just, it's unbelievable. And with those grays
Thank
behind
you.
it, oh,
Yeah, thank you.
it's
Thank
beautiful.
you. So this is the June bloom. I see the cactus. Oh, the cactus is one of my very favorites too.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that one because it really teaches you how to see value in your fabric. So we're dealing with the cactus, we're dealing with 5 values of green, and that's pretty tricky. It's challenging, but not overwhelming. But to get those value sets, and so I love the cactus because it's those different values that give it such depth and dimension and make it look so cool when it's finished.
Oh yeah, yeah. That really is just so beautiful, so beautiful. So so when you're looking for inspiration, where is it coming from? Are you just, you? I mean, obviously, nature, would be one of those things that you get
Yeah,
inspiration from. What about this bear?
right. Yeah,
Look at
the bear.
look at this bear. Why did you decide on this one?
I love grizzly bears. Grizzly bears are fascinating and terrifying to me, but I think they're probably my very favorite animal. I just think they represent the American West
Mm-hmm.
where I live,
Mm-hmm.
and I just think they're amazing, cool animals to see in the wild. And I've been privileged to go to Alaska and watch grizzly bears, and so yeah, that was what inspired me there. And then I love, here's the one thing I love color. I love color like crazy.
That is definitely
I get super excited and passionate about color and flowers, like nature. Like look at the stuff behind me.
yes.
It's so colorful and happy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just me.
It's just
So
you and it. Oh, I brought up another one. I can't remember which one this is called. You'll see it in a minute. It's kind of your garden of flowers. I'm not sure what you call this one. It has several coming out from the ground.
sublime.
Sublime. Okay.
Yeah, sublime. The So fun. I love doing that one. And so I've been on a little bit of a kick trying to nail down how to do a perfect flower.
Really?
And oh yeah, so you can see this quilt behind me. that was my first flower quilt. That's called Felicity.
Okay,
And
I've
it's
got that one
I
here.
love, love, love that quilt. So we're looking at Sublime right now on the
Oh no,
live
nope.
page.
And now I just put up Felicity. So here in just a
Okay.
minute.
Um, so I'm just continuing to do flowers, and I make mistakes, but I don't know, they're complex little critters, and they're challenging to me, and yet they're really fun to execute, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they turn out great. And so here's Felicity, and I like Felicity because it's a beginner pattern.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot mess it up. It's absolutely foolproof.
Really?
And part of the reason that it's foolproof, yeah,
Yeah.
really, is that the flowers are very stylized. They are not attempting to be realistic. They're very stylized flowers.
Mm.
So that I really like that one. And then the key with Sublime, the one that you showed
Here, I'll
previously,
bring that one up again.
is that yeah, let's talk about that one again.
Yeah, there we go.
So Sublime uses uh, um, fussy cut centers, so it really makes it easy. I'm using the
Oh.
gorgeous cake fabric that has the
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, beautiful centers. That
Mm-hmm.
gorgeous fabric. Like, let me
Mm-hmm.
see if I've got any sitting around. Amelia, can you just grab me one of those floral fabrics that's sitting right there, and I'll just show them one of the easy tricks for creating gorgeous flowers, of course, is to just cut a flower out of beautiful fabric.
Right.
And I mean, that's the thing. You ask, part of my inspiration is I'm so inspired by beautiful fabric, and I want to play with the fabric. And
Yes.
this is a really fun way for me to play with the fabric.
Okay, there's one more I want to
So,
show because I know there's a little bit of a story behind this one as well. This is, let's see, Adoration.
uh-huh.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so adoration is inspired by, look, the most the thing I'm most passionate about in life is being a mother. And
Mm-hmm.
I love my children just like you love your children, like crazy. I want to eat them alive. And that design is inspired by the Gustav Klimt famous painting called Mother and Child. And I love it. And I wanted to spend time creating this, making it into a beautiful collage quilt. And so that was my inspiration. And I love that quilt
I
too.
love this quilt. I love it. So beautiful. So, how about
Thank
you tell
you.
us how do we get started? What do we need to do?
Okay, well, Kris, I have a little demo that I'm gonna just show you because it's so dumb simple what I do.
I don't believe that.
You're gonna love it.
I don't believe that, but I'm going to take the screen off of me and just focus on you. There we
Okay,
go. Are is it
okay.
choppy on your end? I'm or do you see yourself pretty clearly?
I can see myself pretty clearly. You're a little bit choppy, so I
Okay.
apologize if there's a connectivity problem, you guys.
We will do our
I'm gonna dig in
best.
here though. Yeah, so I want to just show you some of the things that I use in collage quilting um, that Kris carries in her store. And I really want you to go shopping in her store because she is a small business owner that can use your support right now. So the first thing are these 6-inch Karen K. Buckley Perfect Scissors. I love these scissors.
Me
The
too.
other thing, yeah, that's essential or is either an adhesive. Like, I love this double-sided fusible web, light Steam 2 right now. Today is what I'm going to be using. And then fabric. I need lots of fabric. So let me just show you. I've got my bundle of green fabric right here, and I've selected a whole bunch and prepared it with my Steam. So here are these pieces that have these green pieces that have the Steam on them. And the reason I like this is because, watch this, it's just so simple. So I've created, well, let me get back before I get started. So those are the three things you need to do collage quilting. You need a great pair of scissors. You need some adhesive. You need fabric and a pattern, or not. But Kris and I have just decided that we're going to announce something fun right now. Kris, can I go ahead and tell them what we're going to do?
Yes, but can you wait for just a minute? I'm there.
Sure.
I'm wondering if can you like play around with your computer where it's located, and let's just see for a minute if your connection can be better somewhere else, or it was the weirdest thing.
You know what? I'm going to turn off my phone for one thing.
Okay.
And let's see here. Okay, is that any better? Amelia, will you turn your phone off too? Yeah. You what? I don't have Wi-Fi. You don't have Wi-Fi on? Okay.
Maybe try pushing your computer back a little bit. Let's see if that works. Huh. Yeah, it's still a little fuzzy. I'm not sure why.
Choppy.
Yes.
Shoot.
Well,
I've got my computer plugged in here. I wonder if I should do, we don't probably want to do a refresh while we're in the middle of this.
Right. Well, we can still see you. It's
Close
just
some
not
tabs
as clear.
here. Okay, I'm going to close all these tabs out. Yeah, stay with me there. And shut down some of these applications. My computer's a little power workhorse. Okay.
I think that actually is a little bit better. So it is.
Okay.
It's a little
Maybe
bit
I'm
fuzzy, but it's better than what it was. So.
Okay. Let's see if I can get this a little bit bigger now. Sorry, folks. We're grateful when technology works and frustrated when it's slow. Okay.
Yes.
Can you see me okay, Kris?
Well, we can definitely it's better. It's not perfectly clear, but it is definitely better than it was. So thank you for playing around with that. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so let's tell them what we're going to do because I'm super excited about this.
I'm super excited about this. Okay. So we're all stuck inside our homes right now, right? And yet we want to keep busy, and our fabric shops aren't open. Kris and I are going to team up, and we're going to go to her Sandy store, and I'm going to curate. I'm going to pull fabric and curate fabric bundles for you so that you can purchase the fabric that I would use when I'm working on a project. Okay. And we're going to work on that next week and make those available so that you can have the right greens and the right pinks and the right purples. And then the other thing I'm going to do, you're going to need those because I'm going to walk you through making some of these gorgeous flowers and tell you everything that I've learned about how to do that. So that's the exciting news. I know my customers are going to be really excited to know that Kris is going to provide fabric that's specially designed for you. Okay?
Yes.
All right, so right now, Kris, if it's okay, if you guys can see me okay, I'm just going to walk through kind of a new thing that I am working on, and I haven't revealed this to anyone, but I've got kind of I'm always innovating and creating and playing. And so I told Kris, this is kind of my new thing. So I have a piece of parchment paper, just baking parchment paper, and I'm going to create a collage, a leaf. Can you see the leaf drawn out right there? Can you see okay? Is the angle okay? Or do you want me to pull in forward?
Okay, but maybe the leaf just needed to be darker.
Okay. Yeah, you probably can't see it because it's just in pencil.
Yeah.
But don't worry, I'm going to whip this out real quick.
Okay.
So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fabric pieces that have the steam-a-seam on them, and I'm going to start applying them to my parchment paper that has the design drawn on it. So all I do is I'll cut a piece, and you can see this is a very random piece of fabric, and that's actually kind of how I prefer to do my collage quilts. I like the randomness. I don't make anything that's larger than the size of my palm, and I don't do anything that's smaller than my thumbnail. But I'm going to clean up those
Okay, you have to say
raw
that one more
edges.
time. I liked how you said that. You don't do anything larger than
The palm
the
of my
palm.
hand,
Okay.
and I don't make pieces any smaller than my thumbnail.
Okay.
That's my rule of thumb on the size
I like that.
of fabric. So I'm just going to continue in this way, cutting up pieces, and I score the back of the paper, and then I peel that off, and it reveals the sticky side. So this is the great thing about double-sided fusible web. Light Steam-a-Seam 2 in particular has this temporary adhesive. So it's really nice because I can just place it, and I'm going to overlap every section on every piece of fabric with another piece of fabric. And I'm just going to kind of work. So this is the basic how to collage. We're going to expose the sticky seam.
Yeah, the nice thing about this, the Steam-a-Seam Light, is that it's repositionable.
It is. It's really nice that way. So now I want to show you, I've done this leaf already, and because I did it on the parchment paper, I was able to press it right on the parchment paper, just like this, and it kind of sticks to the parchment paper. And then when I'm all done, and yet I can still peel it off and reposition it, but when I'm all finished with a piece, let me hold that up there, then I can peel it all off the parchment paper, and then it's got this, the temporary adhesion is still on the back. And so the great thing now is that I can take these elements, and so what I'm going to be doing coming up, and this is what I'm going to be revealing in the next couple of weeks, is this will give you the option to create different elements, leaves, flowers, and then collage them onto another pieced background if you want, or a solid background, and just take the collage one step further. So not only are we collaging now the elements, but we're going to take those elements and collage it onto the background piece of fabric to make the quilt top.
Fun.
So that's something new I haven't done before. Normally, you know, I just use the foundation panel, which is awesome, and I love that too, but I want to give people the tools and instruction to be able to create your own beautiful design.
So tell us a little bit more about the foundation panel, because what you have right now are based off of foundation panels, right?
Yes, so the patterns that I have right now, the ones that we talked about, Felicity and the horse and Sublime, so those are, yeah, they make it super, super easy. Again, they guide our, let's pull the, Amelia, do you want to pull that one down right there and we'll show them? So June Bloom, for instance, this one has, if I peel off all these pieces, it has the foundation panel underneath it. And again, that foundation panel in gray tones guides your fabric placement. But the tip that I was going to show you today is just this new kind of thing that I'm working on, and we need to, you know, I'll be getting that out later.
That's exciting.
But we're going to need, yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Oh my gosh. So we need lots of fabric for it.
So lots of what we need with collage quilts. I want to show you a couple things. So let's take a look at this one, for instance. Do you see all the green, the variety of green that's in this one stem, for instance, I love to have a wide variety of fabric in, in one element. So it's not just one green. If I were to count, there are probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's probably 12 different fabrics in these greens.
Holy cow.
And for me, that's what makes it really, really beautiful. Now, the other thing, I hope you can see how random those cuts are. Remember, I was just showing you a minute ago that there's really no rhyme or reason to the shape of the cut. The size is all roughly the same, but I like that kind of choppy, it's a very impressionist way to create a collage quilt. So that's what I call these, actually. This is my impressionist technique. I'm just cutting pieces of fabric, and they're random, but the variety is what's important. I'm using a wide variety, and then I also understand, let me show you this one too. I also am applying my understanding of color theory. So in addition to talking about values a lot, let me show you this one here. Okay, so in the design, you can see here that I'm trying to, well, let's look at this one. You can see that I'm trying to make this look like it's got a shadow underneath it, right? Mm-hmm. So that this is clearly a daffodil, and that center part of the daffodil comes forward. And the way to do that is using my understanding of art and color theory. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually using the opposite color from yellow, which is purple. And it creates kind of a shadow and another shadow up here. And you can see over here, this is a really good example of making it look like it's dimensional, has a little bit of depth, because I'm choosing fabrics that are darker in value. They're also cooler in temperature. So that's a whole lecture about cooler understanding color theory, right. Which brings me, and using color, your understanding of color and temperature to create contrast is really the key for collage quilts. So a lot of that is actually all of that is in my book that you also sell. Mm-hmm. But having a really basic understanding of how to use a contrast in temperature and a contrast in value to create the design is key. It elevates our collage quilts to be more artistic, and that's what I like to teach. That's why my foundation panels are in gray tones, so that you can begin to understand that everything we do is through the lens of art theory, color theory.
I think that's brilliant. That's brilliant. It is, because when you see it in gray tones, then it takes out the color itself. Like, you're not focused on the color itself, you're focused more on those values.
Exactly. So the funny thing is, if I sit here and let me tell you another kind of, let me see if I can pull up another quilt. Do we have, I don't have, Cactus and Sublime are actually hanging in your store. I like to teach a lot about those. No, it's okay.
Okay.
I just what I'm going to show you here as I'm just applying fabric to this piece, and it's going to turn into a leaf. Right now it doesn't look like anything, right? I mean, it just looks like really random, which it is. It's very random cuts of fabric. But taken together, it does create, now remember, my method is Impressionism. So I want you to think about the Impressionist masters. Think about Monet, for instance. What he would do is create his palette and of colors, and then he would take a big brush load and apply it to his painting, and he wouldn't fuss with it. And the result is, when you look at an Impressionist painting up close, they look you can't see what's going on. You're like, what the heck is that? That impressionist painting, it doesn't make sense to us until we can stand back. And then when we stand back, we can see the entire work of art. And that impressionism becomes, that's where the art comes in. It doesn't look, it has so much depth and richness that a photograph can't create. That's what's amazing about impressionism, and that's what I'm trying to create with my collage quilts. I'm trying to mimic the result that an impressionist painter would create. So while this looks crazy when you see it up close, when I pull it back, it looks amazing. So we can do that right here with this. Like, again, look at this up close. It's a mess, right?
Oh, no, it's incredible, though.
But you pull it way back, and all of a sudden you can see that this is a flower. Mm-hmm. For me, that's the fun of making a collage quilt. It allows me to play with fabric in a way that I couldn't do in traditional quilting. In traditional quilting, we're very focused on rigid instructions and seam allowances,
perfect
and
quarter inch, and all your corners have to match, and the pressing is so critical.
Yeah. So collage quilting is exactly opposite. It's very freeform, very creative. You kind of have to take yourself back to kindergarten when you weren't afraid of making mistakes, and let yourself make mistakes and let the fabric do its thing. And the most amazing things happen when you just start applying fabric to a project.
What a wonderful way to just use your mind and give you some freedom.
Oh, it's so fun. It's so relaxing. And I tell my husband, if I'm kind of feeling uptight or having anxiety, like I have a lot lately, as we all have, if I can get up here and spend time in my studio just creating for a little while, I feel myself becoming grounded again and calm. And there's something about being creative, right, that's really nurturing to our souls.
Absolutely.
And this is a super way to be creative. I love it. And then the other thing too is it allows me to sit and listen to really good literature, good books. I feel like I'm educating my mind because I can get through so many books as I work.
Yes. So you there is really no rhyme or reason to how you're cutting these?
Nope. You can see like all these pieces. Like, look at that. It's just really random.
Wow.
And sometimes I will kind of round off an edge. But for the most part, these are they're quite random. The most efficient cut that I've figured out is I just take a piece of fabric and I do a straight cut. So it turns out to be whatever shape it wants to be. And then I will often round one edge because when I'm dealing with organic things like leaves and flowers, there's lots of rounded edges on the outside. And I just I make it fit. So making a collage quilt is a little bit like doing a puzzle, except that you can cheat. You're just filling in this space. But you can cheat because you can overlap.
That's right.
And you can cut things and you can remove them.
And speaking of cutting, I know you talked a little bit about those blue scissors, but tell us why those blue scissors are so critical.
Okay. So these are my very favorite. And I have tried Kai scissors. Those are great too, but these are the perfect size for my hand. I'm an average size woman. These 6-inch scissors are just the perfect size for me. But the other thing that I love about them is that they have this serrated edge.
Yes.
It cuts through fabric like butter, as you know, Kris.
It grabs that fabric. Like instead of have you ever cut fabric and your scissors slip on you? And especially with you're doing so
Yeah,
much cutting of these little pieces, that serrated edge is what really holds on to it.
yeah. So I love these, and I think they're really affordable. They're not very expensive scissors, compared to what you can spend on
Mm-hmm.
scissors. So I have multiple pairs, and I've tried all kinds of scissors, all kinds of sizes, and these are just my favorite. They're the best.
Yep.
So guys, go buy these scissors at my girlfriend's quilt shop. So in the matter of just a few minutes, this leaf is going to be done really quick. And if you, again, can let go and just move forward, just placing pieces down and don't stress too much about where things go, you can bang these out pretty quick. The patterns that I do recommend for beginners, if you've never
Mm-hmm.
made a collage quilt, so if it's okay, I'll help people who want to get started with collage quilting. I have the patterns that I recommend on my website are, any of those physical patterns that have the foundation panel. So Felicity, Sublime, Cactus, those are all wonderful. This new June Blooms pattern, they're great to get started in collage quilting. And the other thing is, I'm really passionate about making sure that people who are using my patterns have success. And so I have a good little Facebook group called Collage Quilt Along with Emily.
Mm-hmm.
And I have video tutorials for just about every project that every one of my patterns. So if you
Yes.
find one of those patterns, you can go to my Collage Quilt Along with Emily Facebook group. And in the units tab, there are video tutorials and quilt alongs, extra information that you can access that will just teach you and give you little hints about
Mm-hmm.
making my pattern.
Yes. I love that. Very, very
So,
helpful. Do you,
any other
do you see
questions
how
for you
that's
as I
all
keep
coming
going?
together? It's just amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah, can you see? Well, we'll have to show some pictures as we get further along.
Yes.
I made it kind of big, but
I'm going through and seeing if we've got any questions in particular while you're on. Oh, Carolisa said, we are never going to get rid of any fabric scraps now.
that's right.
Love
Good
this.
thinking.
Oh, let's see.
And if
Hey,
I can make another comment about, oh, go
yes.
ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say you'll be excited to see this. Kim is on right now, and she says, I want to make Sublime.
Awesome. You're gonna love it.
Yep,
So you can pick up. I think you've got the pattern in your shop,
we
right?
do.
And
Yep.
okay, and I've got the pattern too, so you can get it at either place. But the
Yep.
thing you're gonna need is get your fabric, and I'm gonna help you pick out fabric at Kris's shop so that you have a
Definitely.
good variety of the colors that you're gonna want to use.
So Gloria asked this question. She asks,
Okay,
are fabrics you are using small prints, solids?
great question. So a minute ago, remember I said I love to have a good variety of fabric. So I very, very rarely use solids. I don't like solids. I do
Mm,
love this grunge though. It
mm-hmm.
reads like a solid. And I love to mix prints with batiks. That's my preference. I really love to use both. There's something about mixing those fabrics that creates a great little contrast. Um, I do try to I try to stick to fabrics that I can identify the color. So I don't, I love to buy those big, beautiful, crazy prints, but those are, I'm going to use those to fussy cut things.
Right.
And they also provide great color inspiration. So nobody like Kafe. I mean, I tell you, that guy knows how to color, combine color. And so I buy those fabrics all the time because I love them, and I fussy cut them, and I use them as inspiration for a color palette.
So that's good to know that you're not really into the solids. It's still got to have a little bit of texture to it.
Yeah, it does. I like the movement. On occasion, I will use a solid, but very rarely. The other thing I very rarely use is black. I am not a fan of black.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting.
even with my grizzly bear, I used uh, dark brown, dark blue, dark purple. Sometimes I mean there is some black in there for sure,
Oh,
but
blues and purples on the grizzly bear. You know what? I wouldn't have
mhm.
really seen that right off.
Right. You
Heather,
kind of have to inspect these, as you look at them up close, you can kind of see how I've used just really values.
Heather has a question. Does Emily just
Okay.
trim the edges of her fabrics to match the outline of what she's working on?
Yes. Great question, Heather. So I'm trimming, you can see I made this cut. I scored it. And sometimes when I score the background to pull off paper, it will pull a thread, and so I'll trim the thread, and then yes, I only will trim an edge that's going to go, on the edge here. But you can see other things are left really
Mm-hmm.
square.
Mm-hmm. Now, Emily, when it comes to quilting it, obviously we're not going around, we're not blanket stitching anything. We're not
Right.
we're not even doing raw edge applique around every little piece. Am I
Right.
right?
Yeah. So the reason I like light steam too, and I've used glue, I like glue as well, but the reason that I really like light steam too is because the adhesive is very consistent on the entire edge of the fabric. So it minimizes fraying because we are dealing with all raw edges. And
Mm-hmm.
so that, let's put this one up here. That minimizes fraying, but because we are dealing with all raw edges, I like the quilting to be dense. And when I say dense, I like it to be um, a minimum of a ½ inch between stitch lines. But I prefer dense quilting. So let me show you an example of dense quilting that my quilter has done for me, and she does a great job. Now, I just bought a machine from your shop in Sandy. I bought myself a baby lock, and I'm learning how to use it. I love it. It's super fun. But I want to show you, let's see, probably the best, I don't know if you can see those stitch lines. Let's see here. Can you see how densely
Yes.
those are stitched?
Oh,
So
yes.
she stitches things about a quarter of an inch apart,
Wow.
and that makes sure that, well, the quilting is absolutely gorgeous. Um, and she custom quilts everything for me, and it's gorgeous. But then everything that's a raw edge is tacked down in multiple places.
Uh-huh.
So I don't worry that there are any raw edges because it's all tacked down really well.
Okay. Sue's question is a good one. Do you ever put these collages on a t-shirt?
Oh, that's interesting. No, I haven't put them on a t-shirt. I'm not into wearable art very much. That's
Mm-hmm.
just personal preference. The other thing you would have to be very careful of is, your t-shirt probably needs to be washable.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to make sure that your quilting is dense, and you will get some raw edge fraying. It will be minimal,
Mm-hmm.
but you will get fraying if you wash it a lot, like a t-shirt should be washed.
Yeah. Well, I could see this maybe on the back of a denim jacket too. Wouldn't that
Yep,
be pretty?
yep,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tammy, yes, she wasn't be able to tell, but she wondered if there was a picture or outline on the white fabric you're adding the material to. Do you want to tell us again
Yes,
what you're adding this to?
yeah, so this is parchment paper.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of a new technique that I'm in the process of creating. And I drew just a simple leaf shape with a pencil.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't see the pencil lines. I can see them. It's a pretty simple design.
Okay. Someone said that your greens make her think of a cool frog.
Oh yeah,
That is a good point. Okay, so
ribbit.
there's several questions about this, so I think this is a good thing to point out. When buying fabric, how much of one fabric do you recommend to get? And then also another question is there a rule of thumb you try to stick to as far as how many colors you need at a minimum? Like in order to create something dimensional, would you do 5 colors or more? Great questions, I think.
Great questions. Those are really good questions. So let me start with the first question. Um, when I'm buying fabric, I generally do not buy more than I don't buy more than an eighth of a yard unless it's one of those big bold prints, the cape, and then I'll get a quarter yard. And this is what's important with what I'm doing with Kris. Kris is one of those rare quilt shops that's willing to cut an eighth of a yard, and that's why I'm loyal to her. And I want you to be loyal to quilt shops that will cut only what you need. And so Kris, again, has agreed to meet me at her quilt shop, and we're going to pull fabric and create bundles that are only eighth of a yard pieces.
Yes.
And so we'll give you a whole spectrum of greens, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads me to my next question, to the answering the next question, which was, do you recommend minimum number? So I always recommend the more the better. I say you can't have too much fabric.
That's
and
right.
as I pointed out, so if I'm working on, this green, I've got probably, let's see if we can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For an element that's about this size, yeah, for me, anywhere between 8 and 12
Okay.
is the variety of fabric that I'll use.
Mm-hmm.
And I love fabric that is
Yes.
unexpected, like
Yes.
that. See that little pop of orange?
Okay, I like what you
Um,
said there. It was unexpected. I love that.
mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, so now you're starting to see this from far away, right?
Uh-huh.
And but up close, I mean, the fabric that I'm using is pretty crazy. Like this one, it's got orange, and this one has lots of red
Yeah.
and orange. And so again, going back to creating, using an impression, thinking of an impressionist painting, it's fun to see some unexpected colors in there that really make this piece pop.
Mm-hmm.
It's those things that pop that make this yummy. I don't know how else to put
Ooh,
it, but they
good.
make it yummy.
Yum. Oh, yep. Yeah, Barbara says she even uses scraps of steam seam too. Don't throw out
Mm-hmm.
anything.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me teach you a little bit about steam-a-seam. Yeah, keep your steam-a-seam. And the reason that I want, Kris, that we're going to do the eighth of a yard cuts is I've figured out kind of a really great way to use steam-a-seam with eighth of a yard cuts. So if I am, let me pick up, okay, so this is a piece of fabric that I have surely purchased at Kris's shop because it's an eighth of a yard.
Uh-huh.
The great thing is now I can cut only what I need in a single, run my rotary cutter over that, and then I put it down on my steam-a-seam, and I can just line up my steam-a-seam so it's all very efficient if you look at a sheet of the Steam-A-Seam, then it's got all these different pieces of fabric that are on it, and I'm not wasting any Steam-A-Seam, because Steam-A-Seam is expensive and we don't want to waste it. The other thing, I don't like leaving a lot of fabric with Steam-A-Seam on it. Steam-A-Seam does seem to age, and when it ages, it loses its temporary stick. It will still stick really well once you steam it, but it doesn't, it tends to lose that temporary stick. The other thing about using light Steam-A-Seam too, the key with it, when you're all finished with your quilt top and you've collaged the whole thing and it's got Steam-A-Seam on it, the key is to steam the heck out of it. Like, get your steamy iron and just press. And that steam helps to dissipate. I just found some more fabric back here. I'm going to throw in a few different pieces. That Steam-A-Seam, or the steam, will help to dissipate and soften up the temporary adhesive. So you'll really see a difference between a piece that has been steamed excessively and one that hasn't been steamed. It's a lot stiffer if you don't steam it. So that's the key with that product.
You know what's so interesting to me as I'm watching you? One is you are like multitasking to the nth degree.
Oh, this is easy. I'm telling you.
And I noticed that, I'm afraid if it was me, I would look at that little white space and go, oh, I'm just going to hurry and get a huge chunk and cover it. But you are just taking your time and you're just enjoying the process and filling in all those little gaps, little piece by little piece. I love that.
Yep. Yeah, it's, I'm probably not applying as much brain power to this as I do to something that's more complex. But
Sure.
the funny thing I've learned too about greens and doing any leaf, for instance, you can really let go, because the interplay between the values, so the dark against the light, and the interplay between temperature, warm greens next to cooler greens, it makes it look sun-dappled. And I've just kind of learned that greens are amazing that way, that I can be really haphazard with the way I apply fabric. And they just kind of come together, because as I'm finishing, it looks like it's got sunlight on it, right?
Yes. Now, Sylvie says, I find it very meditative.
Oh, it is. It is. So that's what I said. Like, get a good book and sit and do your work. And I'm telling you, to get through this pandemic, this is the most therapeutic thing you can do. Or turn on some beautiful music and sit and do this. I'm telling you, this is the best. And once you dive into collage quilting, you'll never go back.
The idea of doing 1/4-inch seams doesn't excite you, Emily?
It's funny. My son wants me to make him a quilt for his bed. He already sleeps with 5 quilts I've made him, but we moved him into a queen size bed because he's so big, and so I need to make him another big quilt. And I'm like, really?
So what are you gonna do?
I have to?
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna do a buffalo head. That will be a collage integrated into a pieced quilt.
Nice.
So I've drawn it out, and I'm kind of excited about it. I think it'll be fun. But here's my problem. I lay awake at night, and my creative brain will not stop. And so I have a gazillion things that I want to do, and that's my challenge. Well, I mean, fortunate for me that this is my job, so I can spend a lot of time on it.
Sure.
man, what a blessing that is,
It sure
because
is.
not very many people get to do what they love.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
feel very, very blessed
Yeah.
to do that.
Annie and I were just talking about that yesterday. How, if you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. I mean, it is a lot of work, but
Yeah.
we're so grateful to be doing what we love too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I love this. This is so beautiful. Look at this coming together right in front of our eyes. Is
Kind of
anyone else
crazy,
getting
huh?
goosebumps like I am? I mean, seriously. Now I can see, I can see this put into a quilt, and I mean, she didn't have to overthink it.
Right. So I'm almost done, right? Like I've just got a
Yeah.
few more pieces. And what I want to kind of show you is all of the sudden now, if I pull over, oh yeah, that's the right scale, I think, for this. Like, ooh, this is going to be so fun, right?
Yes. That's
Look at how
incredible.
pretty that's going to be.
Oh, it's
So that's
incredible.
kind of what I'm going to be working on, is just pounding out some green things. I
Yeah.
have 2 weeks to get this little project done that I have in my head for a special purpose, and I can do greens all day really fast. I can bang out some leaves and vines and all kinds of stuff like this.
I like this. This is something that Betty Joe just shared. We used to do this with tissue paper in grade school.
Yes.
This quarantine time would be a great time for your kids to make a collage quilt, I'm guessing. Cute if each child
Yes.
did a jack-o'-lantern.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's a great idea too. I have a USA map
Oh,
that is the perfect
okay,
project
I've got
to
a
do
picture of
with,
that. Let me bring that up. Okay,
yeah,
tell us about this.
that's a, okay. So this map, I mean, it's foolproof. It comes with the foundation panel that's in gray tones, and you don't need to follow the gray tones. It's only to indicate where the states are. So you
Mm.
can choose different colors, you can choose different values, and you can have your kids help you, and they can be educated learning the states at the
There
same
you
time that
go.
you're making a great little collage quilt,
Yes,
helping America get through this pandemic.
that's right. That is really cute. I happen to love the heart on the shape of Utah. On the shape of Utah.
Yes,
But you can put that heart wherever you are here.
right.
Yeah, that is a really fun one. I like that. Here's another one that we haven't talked about yet. This is, let's see, the teacups.
Oh,
What
yeah.
do you call this one, Emily?
Cup of tea.
Cup of
Cup of
tea. Well,
tea.
there you go.
Okay. So my grandma used to drink tea, and she would always say, cup of tea, cup of tea. And so that's why I named it's in honor of my grandma.
Oh, I love it. I love it even more now. And you can see that you did do a pieced background on this one, the squares.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah. So let me explain the 3 different ways that you can finish a collage quilt. So the foundation panels that I provide in the collage quilts are designed to be your back. They're designed to be your background.
will you show us one
That's your
again,
quilt top.
Emily? Do you have one right there that you could
Uh-huh.
show us? Because
Yep.
uh, it was a little fuzzy earlier, and now you're a lot more clear. So,
Okay, good. So this is the horse, and you can see the horse is printed in gray tones. So every physical pattern that I have has this gray tone foundation panel included, and it is printed in gray tones, and those gray tones guide your fabric selection and your fabric placement.
mm,
So again, it's like paint by number with fabric. It's so easy, and you will love it. It's just a fun way to spend time as we're in quarantine.
exactly. So
So what I was going to say,
that pattern
go
stays.
ahead.
The fabric stays with it. So you have multiple layers of fabric when you're using the panel, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm applying fabric right to the foundation panel, and then that panel is designed to, I can either leave the background white, because that's my quilt top. You know, the background becomes the
Oh,
negative space from the
okay.
design.
Okay.
It's beautiful fabric. I really love the fabric. It's 100% cotton. So you can leave your background white. You can cut away the design and apply it to another background, whether that background is solid or pieced. Okay, I think I'm about
Look
done with this leaf, but let
at
me
that.
finish. Or the other thing that you can do is collage edge to edge, like I did with June Bloom. I haven't edged or put a binding on this yet, but you can see that I collaged edge to edge. And if I were to peel back all the pieces, you'd see the foundation panel underneath it. So those are the three ways: to leave it white, to cut it away and put it on a different background,
I love.
or to collage the whole thing.
I'm so in love with
So
June Bloom. I can't stand it. I
thank you.
is that background grays that I pulled a picture up. Is it
Yeah.
just a variety of grays? Am I
Yeah, so
seeing?
this one is gray, and then I've got the other June Bloom that I did based on a piece of fabric that I found that I love is a dark teal.
Oh, that's pretty. That's really pretty.
Yeah.
Have you ever framed your quilts?
You know, I hang them on the wall all the time.
Uh-huh.
This one, and yes, I have framed. So but generally I won't quilt them if I'm going to put them on a piece of foam core and then stick them in a frame. But I like the idea of kind of treating it well, it's a quilt. I like it quilted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of thinking tapestry, like
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
just I like it without a frame, but
Yeah.
I've used poster hangers that I've purchased at Urban Outfitters,
Mm-hmm.
and the poster hangers just have a slat of wood on the top and a slat of wood on the bottom, and then a
Mm-hmm.
little leather strap, and that's a fun way to hang things.
Mm-hmm.
Or I have a great big embroidery hoop. Sometimes I'll
Mm-hmm.
just put something in an embroidery hoop and hang it up. Okay, so I'm pretty much on this leaf. It's kind of dramatic, kind of crazy.
Oh my
Now what I'm
gosh, I
going to do is
love
I'm
it.
going to take my lovely little miniature iron, and again, this is on
Yes.
parchment paper. So I'm just going to press it. I'm not steaming it at this point.
Okay.
I'm just going to press it because I want to show you. Again, this is kind of a new technique that I'm working on. I don't know where I'm going with it yet, except that I'm innovating and having creativity bursts in the middle of the night that are
Well,
keeping me
we
up.
all appreciate your insomnia. Annie
Okay.
asks if your center of that flower is fussy cut.
No.
Okay.
It's here, let me pull it up to you
Yeah.
or show it to you.
Wow.
So it's just little
Oh, just
fabric
little.
pieces.
Oh my goodness. Holy cow. This could be good sitting on the couch watching TV, even if you wanted to just do
Yeah.
some cutting.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. Speaking of fussy cut flowers though, centers, here's this one is fussy cut.
Okay.
So I just super simple.
Yeah, that's easy.
I do that impressionist technique, and then I put a fussy cut flower, and all of a sudden it's like, bam, that looks awesome. And it
Bam.
was really cheating. It was really fun. So now watch this.
Wow.
There
You have
is
for your.
a piece that
Hmm.
I can now add that to to this design that I have in my head that I'm kind of working on.
So, Emily, are you doing the background first or last?
Um, boy, that's a great question. I break my own rules, often by mistake, all the time, which means I learn by mistakes, you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
I will do the background last a lot,
Hmm.
just because when I pull something together, I'm like, oh, actually, I think I'd like to see what a collage background looks like.
Hmm.
Um, so I've done the background last with the horse and with Sublime. And Then I got a little smarter and I did the background first with this. But the moral of the story is
There's no right way.
It really doesn't matter. There's no right way, and nobody's going to inspect and see what the layer is of, the order of layering on your collage. Nobody's going to go look at that. It will make it a little bit easier if you think of doing the background first and anything that's going to be behind another piece. So a petal that's going to be behind, it's easier to do it first. But the other nice thing too about using Steam-A-Seam, because it's repositionable, I will sometimes take a pin. If I need to remove something or lift it up to tuck something underneath it, I can do that really easily.
Tip. That's a good tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, just slightly pulling it up.
Yep. Yeah, I can just slide the tip under here and pull it up and slide something underneath it if I need to.
I've got a couple of other ones of yours. This is that I want to show. This is Partridge in a Pear Tree. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. That was a Christmas design.
It's very different. But I love that. What a beautiful thing to have for Christmas time. And
thank you.
Then there's also your harvest quilt. This one's newer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the harvest was last fall, and that was fun because it was a quilt as you go, and each element of the harvest, each vegetable they're so fun to make, and they come together really fast, and again, it allows you to, yeah. So anyway, they're fun, really fun patterns.
I look at that as like some small wins, like, oh, I got done with the little eggplant, and now you move on to something else. So I think that's really cute too. Your creativity is just endless. It's so fun.
Thank you. Any other questions, you guys?
Yeah. These are great questions. What a great discussion. I'm loving this. So I do know that we have a special giveaway today from you, and I'm going to bring it up here. Yeah. What do we have today? Okay, so I am giving away one of my books.
Yay! Ta-da! So how do you want to choose the winner? Are you going to announce it here?
We're going to announce all the winners at the end of the week. And so what we want you to do in order to try to be in the drawing is just comment below this video as to something new you learned about, maybe a tip that Emily shared that was an aha moment for you, or maybe what's the next quilt that you want to work on of hers. Let us know in the comments, because we're going to choose a winner to win a copy of her book, Collage Quilter, which is Essentials for Success with Collage Quilts, and she's going to take you step by step how to do everything. And then we are also going to give away a $50 gift card from my girlfriend's quilt shop. So we're giving away one of those every day today, or every day this week, I should say. So
that's awesome.
Definitely comment below on the video as to what you're inspired by of what she shared, and we'll be choosing a lucky winner at the end of the week. So any other questions that we have, or anything else that you'd like to share as far as tips or how-tos? If someone were scared to start, they didn't know where to begin, what would you recommend? Where do they begin?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend starting with something like Felicity or June Bloom. Most of those are very simple. And again, I've got video tutorials for every single pattern. That's kind of the nice thing. I want you to have success with my patterns. So you can find those video tutorials at, I'm going to give you 3 locations where you can find helpful tips and tutorials. So number 1 is my Facebook group called Collage Quilt Along with Emily. And there is loads of content there to help you. Definitely. And you can always ask a question in that group and I will answer. I'm in that group all the time. The next thing is my website has a whole bunch of tutorials. And my website is collagequilter.com.
Okay.
And then the other place where I have tutorials is on YouTube. So it's my YouTube channel is just Collage Quilter, right, Amelia? Yeah, Collage Quilter is my YouTube channel. And again, I've got dozens of free tutorials to help you have success and learn how to do this. And once you get started, I know you're going to love it. It's really fun. Yes.
It's addicting. So people are wondering how soon the bison is going to come out.
Oh, good gravy. I don't know. I don't know. I've got to get that done because I promised my son that I'll get it done. It'll probably be something like this fall.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. And for those of you who are wondering about where you can find those, we have everything listed on our website now. So you can go to mygirlfriendsquiltshop.com, hit new releases, and you will see everything you need. Scissors, the steam-a-seam, the patterns, her books, everything right there.
Great.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So some parting words from you, Emily. This has been so much fun. I hope I hope you've had as good a time as I have. So
it's been wonderful. I love it. Thank you so much.
Hanging out, how are you doing? We got to see your hair chopped. For those of you who are just
I know. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that.
Today. She did it today. Trust me, you will not see me doing that quite yet. Maybe by day 720 of this, maybe at that point I'll be like, okay, I'm done.
Let's hope it doesn't go on that long.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not, for sure.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting
ride. Okay, so parting words, Kris?
Yeah, what are your parting words? What life advice do you have for all of us out there? I'm asking each one of my guests this week to share with us a little life advice because we all need a little upliftment right now.
Yeah. I think chin up, everyone. We are going to get through this together. And yeah, this is super disruptive to everybody's life. But haven't you, I'm sure you all have kind of reached a new plane where life is a little bit simpler. And I have found, and I think my kids have too, that having gratitude for the small things is making a difference.
Yes.
So I have, gratitude that I can be in my comfortable home right now with my family. I'm so grateful that my family is safe. I'm grateful for the beautiful springtime weather that is coming, and I'm grateful for all of you. I'm so grateful, aren't you, Kris, for technology, that we can continue our businesses.
Yes.
That's a huge blessing, and I'm really grateful for you good women. I know quilters are probably the most creative and compassionate women on the planet, and I really do think that we have a role to play in situations like this where we can express love and create a comfort environment for those around us. And that's my message. Keep up the good work, people, and chin up, and we're going to get through this together.
No double chins.
Right. That's right. Chin up.
Chin up. Yes, I'm a dork.
Me and you both.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%, Emily. I absolutely agree, and I think now is the time to look at this whole situation a little differently. If we can, obviously we have to be so careful. We need to be mindful of so many people who are putting who are on the front lines of everything that they're doing. Absolutely. And also, if we can look at this time as a gift as well. I say that each day. It's, can we be grateful for the gift that we've been given of being able to slow down a little bit in our lives?
Yep.
And, then we have no idea what's on the other side of this. And it could be something absolutely beautiful and amazing. And sometimes you have to go through some really hard things to discover those things. So, but
Yeah,
we're all
I
in it
couldn't agree
together.
more.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Emily. This has been so much fun. What a delight. Oh my goodness, I've
Oh,
loved it.
thank you,
I
Kris.
now I got to go around the shop and think which quilt am I going to start on first. So on Monday I was inspired by Carmen, and I did the Patriotic Heart quilt that's now hanging outside of our shop. And I know all of you out there who are like, what? Kris actually got something done?
All
Yes, I
right.
did. I got something done because I was so excited about it. And the easy piecing grid made it so easy that I was able to get it done. Lorraine quilted it so beautifully for me. It's now hanging in front of our store. So that's that one. Then yesterday, I was with Annie Unrein from Patterns by Annie, and you know all of her stuff with her bags, and she's incredible and she's amazing. And I'm like, okay, so now I'm all over what's the bag called that I want to make? The Bowl Me Over bag. Oh, so dang cute.
Hmm.
I want to do the Bowl Me Over bag. Oh, and I want to do some project bags. And while I'm at it, I'm going to do the pouches. And, I have all these things. So now today I'm like, okay, what collage quilt am I going to start first? Do you have a guess as to what I was going like ooh ah over so much today? Can you guess which one it is going
So,
to be my first project?
June
Yeah.
blooms. June
Mm-hmm.
blooms.
Yeah.
Something cheerful.
Something
Yeah, that's a
cheerful.
good
Yep.
one.
So June Bloom, I think it is. I think that's the one I'm going to start on. And I don't think I'll be able to get it done as quickly as the easy piecing grid. But I'm
It's
determined I'm
actually
going to
pretty fast. It
it.
comes together
You think
fast.
so? You think I can do it?
Oh, yes. Oh,
Okay.
100%. And again, video tutorial on YouTube
Yes.
that walks you
Yes.
through the whole thing.
It's going to be like you're just sitting in my sewing room with me, Emily, and I could be like, "Oh, girl, what are you talking about? What?" I love the way your hairdo is today.
Oh dear, what? Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
so we're gonna quilt together, right? And we're gonna make the
Yes,
June bloom together because I am gonna watch you on YouTube and you're gonna take me step by step on how to do that, right? You promised.
got it.
Yeah.
Yep, it's
S-
there. It's waiting for
So
you.
yeah. So then tomorrow, my friends, let's guess who my guest is tomorrow. Anyone know? Anyone? Anyone out there? Do you remember who it is, Emily? It
Oh,
is
it's a
Krista
big
Watson.
time, big time.
Big time. Heck, I'm hitting the gold mine with each one of you this week. Let me tell you, I'm like pinching myself that you guys agreed to do this with me this week. But Krista Watson is going to be my special guest
Yes.
tomorrow. Super excited. Not only is she an amazing designer in her own right with her own patterns and fabric line, she definitely has more of a modern flair to what she does.
Hmm.
She's in the part of, plays a big part of the Modern Quilt Society, but she's also a very gifted and talented uh, quilter on her domestic sewing machine.
Oh, that's going to be cool.
So, for those of you who want to take your quilts to the finish line and you don't have a long arm machine, exactly, Krista's going to share with you, us all, some of her best tips and tricks for quilting on your domestic machine. And then Friday, woo, guess who's with me Friday?
Kimberbell.
Kimberbell! That's right! You get to see Kim and Kris act ridiculous. No, we're going to have lots of fun together. And Kim is going to be sharing with us some fun new things that she has in the works and be giving us some fun tips, tricks, ideas, things we can do at home. So, anyway, I'm really looking forward to that. So, it's been a fun week. Thank you again for being with me, Emily.
Thank you. This was super fun for me. I loved it. So thanks for being with us, everybody. It was great
Yeah,
to have you.
thank you. Okay, Emily, I will catch up with you a little bit later, my friend.
Sounds great. Take
Okay,
care, everyone.
see ya.
Stay safe and healthy.
Yes, Yes, so as I always finish, I love to tell people to stay safe, stay healthy, stay home, and keep sewing. Until tomorrow, we'll see you then. Bye bye.